When the man walked onto the America's Got Talent stage, almost no one paid attention at first. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't loud. He didn't wear a dramatic costume or walk with confidence that screamed superstar. He was just a quiet Filipino man with tired eyes, a gentle smile, and hands that trembled slightly as he held the microphone. The judges smiled politely, the audience clapped out of habit, and Simon Cowell leaned back in his chair, already expecting another forgettable audition. His name was Daniel Reyes. He was 34 years old, born and raised in a small fishing village in the Philippines where electricity was unreliable and dreams were often treated like luxuries. Daniel introduced himself softly, his accent thick but his English careful. When asked what he did for a living, he hesitated before answering. He said he worked as a janitor at a hotel in California. There was no shame in his voice, but there was no pride either, just honesty. Simon asked why he came to AGT. Daniel paused again, his eyes briefly looking up toward the ceiling as if he was searching for courage. He said he came for his mother. The audience leaned in slightly. He explained that his mother had passed away 2 years earlier, and she was the one who taught him to love music. She used to play old Elvis Presley songs on a broken radio while cooking dinner, singing along even when the signal faded in and out. Daniel said that when he sings Elvis, it feels like she's listening. Simon nodded politely. He had heard emotional backstories before. Thousands of them. He asked Daniel what song he would be singing. Daniel answered quietly, "Can't Help Falling in Love." A few people in the audience smiled. Some sighed. Another Elvis song. Another safe choice. Another audition that would probably end with kind applause and a polite no. The music started. For the first second, Daniel didn't sing. He closed his eyes and took a breath that seemed to come from somewhere deep inside his chest. And then he opened his mouth. The sound that came out did not belong to the nervous janitor standing on that stage. It was rich, warm, controlled. It carried a depth that felt older than him, heavier than experience alone could explain. The first line floated across the theater, and instantly the atmosphere changed. Conversation stopped. Smiles faded into disbelief. The audience leaned forward. One judge's eyebrows lifted. Another judge's mouth slowly fell open. When Daniel sang, it wasn't an imitation of Elvis. It was something deeper. Something personal. His voice carried pain, longing, and a quiet strength that wrapped around every word. Each note felt intentional, as if he had lived inside the song his entire life. Simon Cowell leaned forward. Halfway through the song, Daniel's hands stopped shaking. His shoulders straightened. He wasn't a janitor anymore. He wasn't an immigrant struggling to survive. He was an artist standing in his truth. His voice filled the room with memories that didn't belong to just him. It reminded people of first loves, lost parents, late nights, and moments they thought they had forgotten. In the audience, a woman wiped tears from her face. A man squeezed his wife's hand. Backstage, crew members stood frozen, watching on monitors with wide eyes. Then came the twist. As Daniel reached the bridge of the song, his voice cracked for just a moment. The crowd gasped. He opened his eyes, and for the first time, the audience saw tears streaming down his face. But he didn't stop. He pushed through, his voice growing stronger, louder, more emotional. It was raw and imperfect and real. When the final note faded, there was silence. Not polite silence. Not awkward silence. The kind of silence that happens when people don't know how to respond to something that just touched them deeply. Then the audience exploded. A standing ovation erupted from every corner of the theater. People screamed, clapped, cried. The judges stood up one by one. Even Simon Cowell stood, shaking his head in disbelief. Simon was the last to speak. When he finally did, his voice was quiet. He told Daniel that he had heard thousands of singers attempt Elvis, and almost all of them failed. He said Daniel didn't just sing the song, he lived it. He said he forgot he was judging a competition and felt like he was watching something truly special. But the biggest twist hadn't even been revealed yet. Simon asked Daniel why his voice carried so much emotion. Daniel hesitated, then told the truth. He explained that when he first came to America, he was undocumented. He worked under the table, cleaning floors at night, sleeping in shared rooms, sending every dollar he could back home. Music was the only thing that kept him sane. He sang alone while mopping hotel hallways, pretending the empty rooms were an audience. Then he revealed something that stunned everyone. Daniel had once been offered a chance to sing professionally in the Philippines when he was younger. A local producer heard him at a wedding and wanted to help him record music. But Daniel turned it down because his mother needed money for medical treatment. He chose work over dreams. Always. The audience cried openly now. He said that coming to AGT was the first time he chose himself. And he only did it because he promised his mother before she died that one day, he would sing without fear. Simon pressed the golden buzzer. Golden confetti rained down as Daniel fell to his knees, overwhelmed. The audience screamed louder than ever. The judges rushed the stage to hug him. In that moment, the janitor from a small Filipino village became the symbol of every dream delayed but not destroyed. But the story didn't end there. In the weeks that followed, Daniel became a fan favorite. His audition went viral overnight. Millions of people shared it. Comments flooded in from Filipinos around the world, from immigrants, from janitors, cleaners, nurses, and workers who saw themselves in him. Then came another twist. Just before the live shows, Daniel lost his voice. Doctors told him it was severe strain combined with stress. They warned him that singing could permanently damage his vocal cords. He faced the same choice again. Safety or dream. For days, he didn't speak. He drank tea, rested, prayed. On the night of the live performance, he walked on stage unsure if his voice would hold. When he sang again, it wasn't louder. It wasn't flashier. But it was honest. And that honesty carried him through to the finals. Though Daniel didn't win the season, something greater happened. He received offers. Real ones. Record labels, producers, opportunities he never imagined. But more importantly, he received messages from people who said his performance gave them courage to chase dreams they had buried for years. In his final interview, Daniel said something that stayed with everyone. He said success isn't about winning a trophy. It's about finally believing that your voice matters. Today, Daniel still sings Elvis. But he also sings his own songs now. Songs about home, sacrifice, love, and hope. And somewhere, in every note, his mother is still listening.